What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black, STEVEE, the Black. I'm back, and what it feels like in the first time in forever, we are back once again with another Austin era review. So, just a quick breakdown and understanding what the Austin era review is. Well, what the title says: Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? We all know him. Some people call him the GOAT, greatest of all time, all that stuff. But I definitely do agree with that. Obviously the Attitude Era was the most popular era in wrestling. Everybody was watching wrestling during that time. Um, and me being born in 1996, I was too young to watch and really remember the Attitude Era. But luckily, we at the time we had the WWE Network. Now we got Peacock, which is a whole other thing. But I started doing this. So basically, the Austin era runs from Royal Rumble 1997 all the way until the SmackDown after WrestleMania 19 in 2003, after Austin's last match. So basically, yeah, it's going to cover Austin's rise to popularity, which some would say it started in '96 with the Survivor Series, but really it kind of did, but it really blossomed and bloomed at WrestleMania 13 after his match with Bret Hart. So I believe if you go into this channel, I don't start in '97. I started somewhere in '98. But check that out. Check those other videos out. They're good videos. It's the last pay-per-view I got to before I stopped was Judgment Day 1998. I watched the whole pay-per-view, scored it, and then I never did the review. So I rewatched it today just to make sure my changes, if anything changed or if anything was still the same. For the most part, everything's pretty good. So everything's pretty consistent. So without further ado, let's get right into the pay-per-view review. Judgment Day 1998. The pay-per-view starts off with Al Snow taking on Mark Merrill in the opening contest. But before the match can start, Jeff Jarrett comes out. He wants Mark Merrill. He wants Al Snow because Al cost him his match in the pre-show on Sunday Night Heat against Scorpio, and so he wants revenge. I believe the announcer said that he got distracted by Head, which allowed Scorpio to pick up the win. So he wants Al Snow, but Mark Merrill doesn't allow that to happen. He attacks Snow from behind, and the match begins from there. It was a typical match. Nothing really, stood out to me in regard. Nothing too special. It was just I thought it was a good opening match. The match ends. Jacqueline, out there with her. She actually has the women's championship, which I believe last pay per view she did not have. So it was weird to call her the women's champion, but she did not have a championship belt. But this time around she does. Looks great on her. But anyway, like I said, the match really, nothing really too spectacular. Nothing sticked out to me. The match ended when Mark Merrill tries to go for the TKO, but Al Snow's able to reverse it into the snowplow, able to get the pin 1, 2, 3, and Al Snow wins the match. I'm going to give the match 2.5 out of 5. When I get to editing these videos, instead of stars, they're going to be the Austin 316 skulls, which I think is very, very cool. So, in this instance, it would be 2.5 skulls out of 5. I would rate the match. Again, the match wasn't horrible, wasn't bad. It was just a typical opening match. There's nothing wrong with that. But the point of the opening match of a pay-per-view is to get him hyped up. And while the match was good, I don't necessarily feel it got me hyped up for the show. So next up, we had DOA taking on LOD 2000. We had Skull, we had 8 Ball, and we had Paul Ellering, who used to manage the LOD until he turned his back on them, taking on Hawk, Animal, and Droz. Hawk actually has been out. JR said that he was battling addiction, the painkillers, but he's back now. And while he's been out, Animal has been teaming up with Droz. And so now this is the first time that the Hawk is back. For the most part, it was a typical tag team match. Heels dominated. The match ends when the match ends. Sorry, when the Legion of Doom hit their finisher. Things going crazy. The LOD hit their finisher. But Dross comes in and gets the pin, which he is not the legal man, but he's able to get the pin and win. The team wins, so they're supposed to be happy, but you can clearly see that Hawk is not happy. So I'm interested to see where this goes. It'll be very interesting. I gave the match a 2 out of 5 skulls. Again, nothing special about it. Wasn't a bad match. Wasn't a great match. Wasn't a good match. It was an okay match. So 2 skulls out of 5. Next up, we have Taka Michinoku for taking on Christian for the light heavyweight championship. Christian has Gangrel in his corner, and Taka Michinoku has Yamaguchi-san. I love that name. I really love this match. Every single match that Taka Michinoku has been in that I've seen, I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It makes me think I should be watching 205 Live, but the WWE doesn't care about 205 Live, so why should I care about 205 Live? But everything everything that Taka does, I always enjoy. He always puts on a good match, a good show. And he and Christian, they had a very good match with each other, back and forth, lots of high flying stuff. The match ends when Taka tries to go for the I cannot say it. Mikinuchi driver, I believe it's called. I probably said that wrong. I'm sorry. Man, I can't wait till when I start editing and take all this stuff out. It meant to, when he tries to go for his finishing move, Christian reverses it into a small package, pins him, and wins. And he is now the new light heavyweight champion. Meanwhile, we learned a while back earlier that Christian is the brother of Edge, and Edge in his early gimmicks, he would just normally stand in the crowd or somewhere and just watch. He's watching, so we know there's some type of history between Christian and Gangrel and Edge. What that history is, we don't know, but it'll be interesting to find out when we finally know. Like I said, everything normally with Taka is good. I give the match 3 skulls out of 5. Thought it was very, very good and entertaining as always. Next up, we have Val Venus taking on Goldust. So, man, if there's one thing that I could use to describe this match, the word would be emotional, right? So Dustin, he wasn't Goldust yet. He's basically like a pastor, which, man, whenever people portray Christians in media, especially in wrestling, they always portray them as healers, which always does not rub me the wrong way. Anyway, obviously we're in the Attitude Era, so Val Venus is a very popular wrestler at this point. But anyway, Dustin's been talking about everything that what Val does is wrong and fornication and all that stuff, which is true. And he even comes in at one point and hits him in the back with a sign. So to retaliate, what does he do? He sleeps with Dustin's wife, Terry. Now, it could be, and I maybe missed this on an episode of Raw or something, that she's getting revenge on Dustin from, I believe it was the year prior he left her when he went crazy. So maybe this is retaliation for that. I'm not really sure. But obviously it crushed Dustin, right? It crushed Dustin. It crushed him to the point that Goldust returns. So I don't really know who's the heel and who's the babyface anymore. I'm guessing Val is the heel, but people still cheer him. But they also cheer Goldust because they wanted Goldust back, and now he is. I give this match, like I said, it was very, very emotional, back and forth. Val was beating on Goldust throughout the entire match until Goldust was able to get the upper hand at the end. Terry tried to distract him. Both of them, funny enough, were both wearing their wedding rings, Obviously, I don't know if Terry's was probably to mock him, and Dustin, or Goldust, was maybe just a symbol like I still deep down love you inside even though you hurt me. Val tries to attack him from behind. Goldust gets out of the way. He almost hits Terry. In doing so, the ref is distracted, which allows Goldust to hit him with a low blow. 1, 2, 3. The match is over. Goldust wins. Like I said, very, very entertaining storyline. The word I would use is emotional because that's what this is. I gave it 3.5 skulls out of 5. Very, very entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot. Next up, we got D'Lo Brown taking on X-Pac for the European Championship. I think it was like 2 weeks prior. Mark Henry and D'Lo were able to con X-Pac out of his belt. And so now, obviously, X-Pac wants it back. Oh, man, these two. First of all, the crowd chanting D'Lo sucks is great. But no Mark Henry at ringside. I thought that was very weird. China was at ringside, but no Mark Henry. Thought that was weird. Anyway, the match going back and forth. They're doing very good. I love it whenever D'Lo is the European champion. They're saying he's from different parts of Europe over there. Like today, he came out and he was from Italy. So I just really love that aspect of this character where he's going with it right now. Very, very exciting match, back and forth. The match ends when China tries to cost D'Lo the match, punches him in the face, doesn't work. D'Lo's able to kick out. Mark Henry then comes down to cause a distraction. D'Lo hits X-Pac with the belt. You think it's over 1-2, but no, D'Lo kicks out. Sorry, X-Pac kicks out. We're then able, D'Lo tries to go up top and try to hit him with a frog splash, but X-Pac's able to reverse that, hit his finisher in midair for the pin. 1, 2, 3. X-Pac is once again the European champion. I gave this match 3 skulls out of 5. Very, very good. Would I say it was better than Val Venus and Goldust? No, but not by that much. Not by that much. Very, very exciting match. Very, very good. I enjoyed myself while watching it. Next up, we got the New Age Outlaws taking on the Headbangers for the WWF Tag Team titles. The Headbangers recently turned heel. From what I understand, they used to be like this, kind of like the comedy kind of crazy type of tag team, but now they're very serious. They want those tag team titles, and for the most part, they dominate. Like they very clearly dominate this match. It's very, very good. I'm very shocked. I like the new Headbangers. I don't know how much longer they're here to stay, but as long as they're here and as long as they're using this new gimmick, I'm gonna enjoy them very, very much. Oh man, the match ends when it's getting to the point where it looks like the New Age Outlaws are gonna lose the tag team titles because the Headbangers are able to hit their finisher. But just before they can get the cover, Road Dogg comes in and hits them in the head with a boombox, causing a disqualification. So the Headbangers win by disqualification, but obviously titles can't change by disqualification. So the New Age Outlaws do indeed retain the title. I gave this match 3 skulls out of 5. Once again, very good match, very good tag team match, way better than the tag team match from earlier in the night. And you know, obviously, that this feud is not over, and I look to more matches between the two. But there was a very confusing aspect, and I'm gonna get to that when we get to the final 2 out of 3 matches. Matter of fact, the next one's right here. Where we got Shamrock taking on Mankind for the Intercontinental Championship. Let me just say, I truly do like Ken Shamrock from everything I've seen from him debuting at WrestleMania 13 the year prior to up until right now. They haven't booked him quite well, but since his heel turn, he's been very aggressive, very strong, and I like it. It kind of reminded me how they booked Ronda Rousey, quite honest with you. Like, when Ronda came in, she was very happy, cheerful, all that stuff like that. She was intense. She had her intense moments, although Shamrock has been more intense. Like, he would get angry. He would start attacking people and stuff like that. And Ronda would be like that every time and then. But Ronda was better when she turned heel, and I think the same thing applies here to Ken Shamrock. So here's the part where I was talking about confusion, right? So you remember when I said that it caused a disqualification, right? When when Road Dogg hit the Headbangers with the boombox, right? And caused a disqualification. Well, Mankind has the chair, right? And the ref is trying to stop him. He's like, no, don't do it or you will be disqualified, right? But Mankind's pushing him out the way. Shamrock kicks him in the face, so the chair hits him in the face. He then picks up the chair and then smacks it right across Mankind's head, right in front of the referee, and the referee does absolutely nothing. What? You were just telling Mankind not to do it because he'll get disqualified. Shamrock does it, not only does it, but does it right in front of you, and you do nothing? That's very confusing. And they've done that a lot. Wow, I've noticed while watching these pay-per-views. And I'm just like, what's up with the inconsistency, you know? Anyway, we get to the point. The question is, which is the more deadly submission, the mandible claw or the ankle lock? When we get to that point, Ken Shamrock locks Mankind in the ankle lock. He's in excruciating pain. He gets to the rope, but Shamrock's able to pull him back. He attacks the leg more and more. He puts the ankle lock back on him. Mick's in pain. He's screaming. He's crying. So what does he do? Does he tap out? No. He takes the mandible claw, puts it on himself. He then passes out. The ref calls the bell, and he's like, here's your winner by the mandible claw, Ken Shamrock. And Sham's like, what? What do you mean? He lost because of the ankle lock. He's like, no, he put the mandible claw on himself, and that's why he lost, not because of the ankle lock. Maybe proving the question of, well, I guess the mandible claw is better than the ankle lock because he passed out to that and did not submit to the ankle lock. So I thought that was very interesting. Obviously, Shamrock goes angry. He's mad. I'm guessing he feels embarrassed, man, because he's like, I put the ankle lock on you, but you passed out from the mandible claw. He starts attacking the referee. After the match, Mankind gets the mandible claw. He gets Sako on, gives it to him, and then that's that. So I hope we get another match between these two. It was very, very good. I believe I gave it, yes, 3.5 skulls out of 5. Very entertaining. Could have been higher if it wasn't for the weird thing with the weapons. I'm like, what's up with that? Is it disqualification or is it not a disqualification? Make up your mind, because you can't do one thing in the match prior and then literally in the next match not do anything at all. Makes no sense. What's up with this inconsistency? Next up, we have Mark Henry taking on The Rock. The Nation at this point is broken up. Godfather's out doing his own thing. The Rock's gotten more and more popular. He's doing his own thing. He's the #1 contender for the WWF title. And D'Lo and Mark Henry, they just, they still hanging out together. Those two, they turned on The Rock actually this past that past Monday night on Raw. So now we obviously have this match. It's pretty good, I guess you could say The Rock was using Mark's inexperience against him, but Rock pretty much, it was a back and forth contest. It wasn't very long until D'Lo comes out. Rock actually was able to hit the rock bottom. He was about to go for the pin, which when D'Lo comes out, causes a distraction, allows Mark Henry to hit his body slam on him because he didn't come up with the world's strongest slam yet. D'Lo holds the Rock's feet down, 1, 2, 3. Mark Henry wins. I gave it 2.5 skulls out of 5. It was, again, I didn't hate the match. It wasn't a good match. It wasn't a great match. It was just fine. My only question is, why, if the Nation's done, why are Mark Henry and D'Lo still using The Rock's theme? Because they're still using The Rock's theme. I don't know why that is. That's very confusing. They literally just played the same song back to back. The only difference is when The Rock came out, he has, "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" But other than that, words in there. But other than that, it's the same song. So we need to go ahead and change that up, please. And then finally, we had Kane versus The Undertaker for the WWF Championship with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the referee. Basically, so how we got here, the previous pay-per-view, which was, what was the previous pay-per-view? Yes, Breakdown. Yep, Breakdown. Breakdown in the previous pay-per-view, it was a triple threat match between Austin, Kane, and the Stone Cold. Sorry, Austin, Kane, and The Undertaker, my bad. The match ended in a double countout when both Kane and Undertaker hit him with a double chokeslam. They both pinned him at the same time, but since there was no clear winner, the title was vacant. And so Vince had it so Taker and Kane would then face each other tonight at Judgment Day, with Stone Cold being the referee. If Stone Cold does not humble himself and raise the hand of the new champion, Vince McMahon will fire him on the spot. Let me just say, I don't know what it is. But Undertaker and Kane at WrestleMania 14, this match, they do not have good matches, man. I don't know why. Taker, He can obviously do his own thing, and he's great. Kane can do his own thing, and they're great. But when they're together, I don't know what it is, because they just don't mesh. They really don't. I honestly, their match probably at WrestleMania 20 is probably, man. Matter of fact, I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of Kane and Undertaker mostly in the 2000s, not in the Attitude Era, but they're not clicking. I know they face a couple more times, so maybe they'll get better. But so far, the only good match they've had with each other has been their Inferno match, their rematch after WrestleMania 14. But yeah, this match wasn't very good. I mean, it got to a point where the crowd, I believe, was chanting boring. Like, I had to really listen, but it sounded like they were chanting boring, boring, and I don't blame them, honestly. And you guys know Taker's my favorite wrestler, and but I just I don't know. They just do not click. Obviously, it got to a point in the match where Kane reverses the Undertaker into Austin, who was by the turnbuckle. Kane then choke slams him. They start beating him up. So you know what's going to happen next. Those two continue to fight until Paul Bearer comes out, who earlier in the night was reported as a rumor of being in the Undertaker's locker room. We didn't know if that was true or not, but it was confirmed that he was in Kane's locker room. So Paul Bearer comes out. He has a chair. He's telling him, yo, I want to hit the Undertaker with the chair. I want to help you win the title. Kane's like, all right. He turns his back. Bam! Paul Bearer hits him with the chair. It does nothing. Kane then turns around and he's about to go after Paul Bearer, but then Undertaker hits him with the chair. He tries to go for the pin. Austin will not cut it. Austin will not count. He then hits the Undertaker with the stunner. He then counts the 1, 2, 3 with both men on the floor, and he says, "And the winner, Stone Cold Steve Austin." So nobody won. Apparently Stone Cold won. So obviously we know what happens now. He did not crown a new champion. So is he going to get fired? He doesn't think Vince has the balls to fire him. So he goes to the back. He's looking for him. Can't seem to find him. He goes back to the ring and he's like, well, I guess he ran away and didn't have the balls to fire me. Next thing we know, we hear Vince's voice. The Titantron screen goes up. We see Vince right there behind it in this little glass box. And he fires Stone Cold Steve Austin. He fires him. And then that's that. He leaves. Austin says he may be done, but, Vince hasn't seen the last of him. He salutes the fans, and then we cut to black. So that was Judgment Day 1998. After rewatching it, all my original thoughts still stay the same. I'm going to give, first of all, I'm going to give the match between Taker and Kane. I give it a 2 skulls out of 5. The only reason it's not a 1 or less is because Stone Cold provided that excitement during the match, but and a little bit after that, even though it was after the match. But other than that, this match was really bad. Again, I don't know why Kane and the Undertaker do not click, but so far they haven't. Sorry, my throat was hurting a little bit. Overall, though, the pay-per-view started off kind of slow, had a great middle, really good middle, and then had a ending to it. So I'm going to give Judgment Day 1998, I'm going to give it a C+. So not bad. Although the best pay-per-view I've seen so far did belong to SummerSlam a couple months prior in the year, but so far I've gotten a lot of D's, I've gotten a lot of C's, but only one B, and so far no A. Not looking too good for the Austin era review. Other people say, Attitude Era is the best, but I mean, maybe it gets better from here, but who knows. Anyway, next up in the pay-per-view Austin era review will be Survivor Series 1998. For those of you who do know what happened, we can look forward to it. For those of you who don't know, we can find out together, me and you, even though I already know. So it'll be a fun watch. Never seen it with my full eyes, just the last second. So I'm curious to see how the show goes. Other than that, please remember to like this video, share it with your friends, hit that subscribe. You know, this is my full-time job now. Well, I'm trying to make it my full-time job now. You know, I need subscribers, I need views, I need all that. Spread the word. I'm here. Later tonight, after Raw, I will be doing my Raw review for the first time in last year, I think. But till next time, if you're not down with that, I've just got 2 words for you. Peace out, and I'll catch you guys later tonight. Peace.